Welcome back to Love Yourself Then. I'm Dara Thomason, and it's mid-January. Let me guess, things feel a little different than they did at the beginning of January, right? Maybe you started the month with a lot of energy, determination, and now you're noticing it's getting harder. Maybe you're feeling a little harsher. You're being a little harsher with yourself. Maybe that inner critic is getting a little bit louder. You should be doing better. Why can't you just stick with this? What's wrong with you? If that sounds familiar, this episode is for you, because today we're going to talk about why being at war with yourself doesn't work and what happens when you become your own ally instead. This is the shift that allowed me to lose 50 pounds without fighting myself every step of the way. And it's the shift that's going to make all the difference for you. The more you can accept yourself where you're at, the more success you're going to have with weight loss. I want to share my own story with you. In May of 2019, I had lost 30 pounds. I felt thrilled. I thought, wow, I'm only 10 pounds off my wedding weight. That's incredible. And I did have 5 kids. And I was in perimenopause. Amazing. Every time I looked in the mirror, I just couldn't believe that success. By September, I was down another 10 pounds. Then by December, another 20. So in fact, I was down 50 pounds in total, and I didn't even expect that. It wasn't because I needed to lose that extra weight. It's because I was loving myself and taking care of myself. The weight came off as a side effect. I didn't get there by fighting myself. I got there by becoming my own ally. For years, I'd been at war with my body. I criticized myself constantly. I used harsh language. I attacked myself every time I made a mistake. I thought that's what I needed to do to stay motivated. But here's what Kristin Neff's research shows. We often say things to ourselves we would never say to someone we cared about. We say things to ourselves we probably wouldn't even say to someone we didn't like very much. We are often our own worst enemy. When you're at war with yourself, someone has to lose. In a war with yourself, everyone loses. Let me tell you about Connie Rice. She's a civil rights attorney who spent 20 years fighting the LA Police Department with lawsuits. She was successful. Her lawsuits brought in over $1 billion in damages. But over 20 years, she looked at the Watts neighborhood and said, "This will never be enough. These lawsuits will never end. You cannot legislate behavior change." So she did something radical. She interviewed 900 police officers, the very people she'd been fighting against for 2 decades, and asked them, "What do you need?" What she heard was fear beneath the brutality. "Miss Rice, I'm terrified of Black men. Can you teach me how not to be afraid?" Her response wasn't to label them or attack them. She said, "Any solution that's going to work has to work for my community and for you. We need to work together." They created a new model of policing, hanging out in neighborhoods, tutoring kids, setting up sport teams, even health screenings. The result? A drop in property crime, 90% drop in physical crime, and 70% drop in homicides. Compassion didn't make them soft. Compassion gave them power. The same is true for you. When you stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself, everything changes. This means treating yourself like you would treat a good friend. When a friend comes to you struggling, you don't say, "I'm ashamed of you. What a loser. You'll never amount to anything. You must be hurting. I'm sorry. That's hard. What can I do to help? How can I support you?" That's the switch you need to flip. Not "what's wrong with me?" but "what do I need? How can I support myself right now?" When you become your own ally instead of your own enemy, you create collaboration instead of war. And collaboration reveals solutions that weren't on the table before. You don't have to force yourself into weight loss. You can support yourself into it. I want to teach you a few strategies that I share with my clients and that I have used for myself that have made such an incredible impact. So if you know me, I really love Harry Potter. And I think about poor Harry was never, for the first 11 years of his life, he never had clothes that fit him properly. and you think about the impact of wearing clothes that don't fit you properly. You're cinching your pants, your shoes are too big, they're flopping. What message does that give? One of the strategies that my coach used with me was, she said, you need to wear clothes that fit you. Stop wearing hoodies and pants that are too tight, and you need to wear a bra that fits you. I thought, that's silly. I'm going to lose weight. I don't want to spend money on clothes that I'm going to grow out of. But she said to me, just have 2 or 3 outfits that feel really good in your current body size. So I went and I got a few outfits that felt really good. She also recommended that I do my hair a little bit. Maybe put on a little bit of makeup, took some time when I woke up in the morning to feel put together. And it was really surprising what started happening. I started to eat a little healthier. I would sit down and eat instead of just throwing together a peanut butter and banana sandwich. I would actually spend the time cutting the vegetables and then sitting at the table and eating the vegetables or cooking the meat. Even though it was like rush during the days and hurry up while the kids are at school and I have all this, at that time I was professionally quilting for people. It was really interesting what happened to the way that I looked at myself by the way that I treated myself. And so I work with my clients in the same way. And one of my clients jokes a lot about how much money she spent in new bras because she lost 80 pounds. When you lose 80 pounds, you go through several bras sizes. But she said that that was one of the kindest things that she did for herself, was to prioritize buying a bra that fit her properly and then buying clothes that fit her properly. I have another client who really took this to heart recently, and I had an interview with her, and she decided to go and buy 3 outfits, and she's now lost 32 pounds. And those outfits feel so much better. She's just so proud of herself. So I want you to think about your friendships. What makes a good friend? What are the things that you say to your friend that feel like, even when you say it, you're like, I am a great friend? What are those things that you say? Now I want you to think of, who is your best friend? And why are they your best friend? How did they qualify to become your best friend? What are the things that they do, what they say to help you? Now, one of my struggles is that my parents got divorced after 28 years of marriage, and I was 21. My world turned upside down. I didn't even know my parents had marriage problems. Everything was behind doors. And when it all came out, I was very confused, and it was devastating for me. I used food to fill myself up so I didn't have to feel my emotions so much. I did a lot of eating that I didn't even realize. I was eating more than my body needed. One of the reasons I did that was because I didn't want to attract boy attention, because I didn't really understand. I didn't trust the whole process anymore. I kind of lost faith in love and marriage, and it was really confusing to me. I only had so many emotional tools. I didn't know what I didn't know. So subconsciously, I'm overeating and I've gained quite a bit of weight. I wasn't conscious of what was really happening. And years go by. I work a lot. I am obviously overeating. I'm not running as much as I used to in high school, and I have this extra weight. And I was very confused. I thought, why are my dress sizes not fitting me the way that other dress sizes? I used to be a size like 6. What's happening? And I had a really close friend who just gently said to me, what's going on? Why are you this extra weight? What's happening? And I was able to look at myself through a compassionate lens. And I knew that I needed to change. And I knew that I needed to stop living in fear And so I went to a counselor and I got some help with marriage. And the reason I'm telling this story is that she gave me an assignment. And this assignment was very surprising. She said, I want you to contact or meet with 5 married couples that you admire. I said, okay. I kind of wrote a list and I phoned them and I said, hey, what makes your marriage great? I didn't really know exactly what to suspect. And the thing that surprised me the most was all the little things the couple did for each other. One of my favorite examples was one of the couples, she's a real estate agent, and they moved into a new house that didn't have an automatic garage door opener. She really liked parking her car in the garage, but she didn't like getting out of the car and then walking into the garage and then opening the door and then having to go back in her car and then drive the car into the garage. Her husband would text her and say, when are you going to be home? And she would tell him. And so he would make sure that right before she got home, he would open the garage for her. Every time she would drive into the garage, she would say, my husband really loves me. And it's so interesting now because my husband knows how much I love our hot tub. And actually, one of my sons does this as well. They will turn the hot tub on for me or make me a fire because they know how much I love being warm. And those are just small acts, but they go a long way. As you're working on changing your relationship with yourself and how you want to use food, using healthy food makes us feel healthier and happier in our bodies. So instead of going to the chocolate bar when you're feeling sad, you can just feel sad and allow that emotion to pass by. And instead of throwing together a peanut butter and banana sandwich, which you're probably going to crash after about 20 minutes, then maybe have to go for some chocolate to try to keep yourself awake. Now you're going to spend more time eating the healthier food, which makes you feel healthier, but you're going to move your body more. You're going to drink water more. You're going to go to bed earlier. All of those things make you feel happier inside. This is the inside out kind of transformation. And you're finally letting yourself treat yourself like you would a really good friend, but you don't know what you don't know. I hope that as you look at these examples of compassion and look at this concept of I am my own boss. What kind of boss am I being to myself? How do I want to treat myself? And learning how to prioritize your own well-being. If you aren't happy and if you're not feeling satisfied in your life, then it's hard to be happy and satisfied around other people. So when I think about how to create permanent weight loss, we really need to change the way that we think about our own relationship with ourselves, how we decide how to treat ourselves, and no longer beat ourselves up. This is such an amazing example about the lawsuits and how Connie Rice finally said, enough is enough. We have to stop throwing money at this problem. We have to get to the root of the problem. The more that she could get to that and see that these officers were afraid of these people in the community, they said, please teach us how not to be afraid of them. This is what I do for you. I help you learn not to be afraid of food, not to be afraid of your body, not to be afraid of failure, not to be afraid of having difficult conversations with people. So if you're ready to take that gentle and kind approach, I'm ready for you. Let's go. If you're tired of being at war with yourself, if you're ready to become your own ally, join me in Love Yourself Thin. This is where we learn to work with ourselves instead of against ourselves. You get lifetime access to tools that turn you from enemy to ally because you are the best investment and you deserve to treat yourself that way. If you know what you should do, but you can't figure out why you keep falling short, it's the dilemma, isn't it? You have all the knowledge, you know the steps, but something keeps you from following through. That's exactly what we resolve in Love Yourself Thin, my lifetime membership for quilters and creatives, because you don't have a knowledge problem, you have a thinking problem, and that's what we're here to solve. When you join Love Yourself Thin, you get lifetime access to the tools to help you understand why you do what you do so you can finally create permanent weight loss. No more frustration, no more wondering what's wrong with you, just real transformation from the inside out. You can learn more and join at www.darathomason.com. This is where the real work happens. Can't wait to see you there.